All right, so I'm back. This is part 2 of episode 4, and I am still on Saturn retrograde. I was speaking on the many lessons that will come back from the summer. I was talking about the pandemic, and I know you heard the words I said. Is this a perfect time to become a self-regulator versus trying to regulate others or be regulated? The Saturn versus the Saturn in Capricorn versus the Saturn in Aquarius. So right now we are being tested to see if this is really the best way to approach things. We are getting the facts. Aquarius is like facts, air signs like communication and online communication and facts and things of that nature, and it being fixed because Aquarius is a fixed sign, just being a certain structure of things and no BS type of energy. So this is like it's the plan to either continue to follow the status quo or to pull away and not worry about the need to be like the collective, and that continues to claim prior allegiance. Prior allegiance. So we as a collective basically are taking in facts from whatever platforms we are seeking them on, or people we are talking to, or things we are seeing by the naked eye that are placed in front of us, and we are choosing to either continue what we know or seeing if there is a difference on the other side prior to our past beliefs, our past loyalties, right, as a collective. And if you know where I'm going with this, it is definitely me talking about seeing the conspiracy facts of corruption in this world right now and pulling away from what we thought was factual. Okay, and I'm gonna leave it at that because this is astrology. So we are quit blaming each other for each other's issues. Even cities and towns, just one more thing, even cities and towns even have to move away from the state and federal government mandates and make their own decisions. I mean, if, for example, look at LA versus the state of California, where they wanted to stay on lockdown for 3 more months, and LA was like, no, let's do 50%, opening back up businesses, and let's see how it is. We're not going to keep just, not making money, not moving forward. We need to persevere. That's a very good example of the Saturn versus Aquarius. And now we're in Aquarius retrograde, going back into Capricorn, probably to make sure that we learn or need to relearn some other stuff later on this summer. Saturn also has other names. One of them is called Chronos, which in mythology is the father of time. And the other name for Saturn is Phanon, which is to reveal. So Saturn is the revealer over time. So what do you need to reveal to yourself based over this time? I know that definitely a lot of us need to pull away from fear. A lot of us need to just decide on where we are going to go and persevere on with our lives. It can be the same. You cannot, going into Aquarius as the water bearer, the fixed air sign, you focus more and you see thoughts clearly without the emotional side, like that Libra and Gemini even have, as the other air signs. But Aquarius is the detached sign, and I know that my sister and a few of good friends I've always noticed that Aquarius, they do have that detachment where they don't really need the opinion of others to self-persevere. And that's the whole theme, that's the whole idea that we're moving into, that it is okay to be clear, quick, and precise on seeing things differently. Aquarians are very practical and non-traditional signs, which as a collective, yet individually, we are breaking away from. And Saturn in Aquarius in retrograde will bring the tools that we learned from Capricorn into light, into motion. Saturn in its light makes you feel like you're losing things when you're actually gaining. And I swear it's like a purge. And I know everybody's feeling this. A lot of people are losing their jobs, losing money. I'm one of them. We're supposed to be losing this house, but I generally came back from the West Coast to save my mother's house. And we were supposed to be moving out of here, and they keep pressing the time back because we are in this pandemic. So in the back of my mind, and I'm an intuitive Scorpio, I feel like there's something good either going to come out of finally moving out of this house, or we're going to be able to keep the house. Stay tuned. So Saturn makes you feel like you're losing things. Capricorn, even though it's at home in Saturn likes being in Aquarius because Aquarius takes the things that you learned in Capricorn and plays with it and lets you see how it is and lets you test it out and lets you realize, oh, okay, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. And we are shedding and releasing, but realizing that even one's self, as independent as we have been and as strong and as persevering as we have been, the next step is realizing that you need help. You don't have to do this alone, and you can gain partnerships and outsourcing and all kinds of things from realizing that, life is okay to do things in a different way. It's not a rush because Saturn, again, is a slow-moving planet. But you get the time in Saturn and Capricorn to refine who you are and what you'd like to do best, or what you'd like to do with someone else, when you realize that you want to outsource and get other sources and work with other people. And you can also see what other people do for you best. You don't have to not partnership, but you can let somebody else do something that they do best, and you decide on what you do best. Caps are sculptures. Capricorns are sculptures, so they like to craft. They look at most of us now. We are in both of these stages, because when it goes into retrograde back into Capricorn, it's going to be a degree still close to Aquarius. So we're kind of in both of these stages where we're being tested and learning how to be crafty and create our own products and businesses, especially online, because we're on lockdown, and we have to see where it goes over time. These are like modern day athletes. We're like micro entrepreneurs, whereas 3 or 4 years ago, when you said you were an entrepreneur, everybody's like, oh, okay, that's not a real job. That's kind of that restricted thinking. As everybody's like, oh yeah, definitely. I'm definitely a entrepreneur, aren't you? Oh yeah, I got this going on right here. Oh yeah, me too. And I got this other business. It's like blossoming. It's blooming. It's opening up and releasing from prior, like, having to have a job type thinking. Okay. And then you're also thinking, how do we evolve? How do we be more productive? What do you need to refine? What does it need? Where does it need to make sense? What do you need to redo, rethink? The whole retro thing, the suffix re meaning doing over. Aquarius are factual and empathetic, but withdrawn and free from, prior societal loyalty. They flow from the now so we can grow later on as one, which is the whole kind of Aquarius mindset. Aquarius season creates Scorpios, creates us. So overtime, and it takes overtime, you know, the whole 9 months. So I'm really in love with this Saturn moving into Aquarius thing and us going into retrograde. I love life lessons, as I said before, but I'm also learning how to be one of these people that we all are. You know, we are definitely learning to pull away from our previous mindsets. So going into what we can expect from or as a result of these previous mindsets is Jupiter and Capricorn, which is, I'm going to talk about it being in direct and retrograde as well. So Jupiter is the planet of expansion and luck. And on April 2nd, Jupiter had this conjunction with Pluto. So I talk a little bit about Pluto retrograde, but I'm going to come back to Venus and Pluto retrograde next week because these retrogrades are ever changing. So I might consistently talk about these retrogrades as we go into these episodes. So are you getting this feeling like you are moving into greatness? You keep going. That's Saturn persevering you. That's Saturn in retrograde persevering you. So you are feeling like you are moving into something that's getting ready to be great. Okay, so on May the 14th, that's when it was. That was the last retrograde, that planet that went into retrograde, which is Jupiter. Jupiter fixes all these problems. It expands from within on out. It puts you in alignment with your truth. And it also, in retrograde, will help you to soul search. So you're working and persevering, but you also got to check on yourself within. By June 30th, another Jupiter and Pluto conjunction. Conjunction means they are perfectly aligned with each other. That will help create tremendous change and luck. Pluto is the planet of transformation. Jupiter is the planet of luck. Put the change together when they conjunct and they become aligned well. This happens 3 times this year, maybe 4, I think. But it happened back in April. On the 2nd, there will be another Jupiter and Pluto conjunction on June the 30th. But they both will be in retrograde in this time. Okay, so again, Pluto was in retrograde starting April 25th. Jupiter just went in retrograde on the 14th of May, which was last week, or a couple of days ago. We're on May the 17th, this week. And no, because Sunday starts the new week, so last week, but it's a few days ago. So when they both are in conjunction again on June the 30th, they will still be in retrograde. So this is like a therapy session. This is saying the change that we brought, did it really expand you? Especially because Saturn is also in retrograde, and it's going to be in Capricorn. It's going to be back in Capricorn, like we just talked about. It's going to be like, what did you learn overall? Saturn pushed you. Jupiter brought you luck, and Pluto is transforming, changing the whole ordeal of it, the whole body of it. Okay. This might go over your heads. Don't worry about it, but just enjoy the way it hears. Because, you know, even though this is very real, this is kind of like entertainment to some people. It sounds good, even though if you think at a higher level, it will be good. It is definitely going to be good regardless of how it looks. Remember, Saturn is that planet where it feels like you're losing, but you're really winning. Okay? Mars also goes into retrograde later. We got to talk about that one too. But I got to wrap this up really quick, y'all. So September, October, November, you will set your new life into stone based on Jupiter's retrograde. A square happens. We can talk about squares later, but another Jupiter happens. A Jupiter-Pluto conjunction happens on November 12th. So that's like a final growth check to see if you are really making things happen. Your luck is popping. Your finances are growing. You have learned from all the Saturn, and 2021 will definitely be your year. So I hope that I have been helpful. I know I ran through Jupiter's retrograde more. I will definitely talk again about retrogrades more and more often. We're only going to do 2 parts today. So shout out to everyone that checked in. TMZ, Teaching Everyone Abundantly, Empowering Many Z. and Gidalyfe, getting it done, loving yourself forever, incorporated. Love y'all. Peace.